This bootleg high-grade aerial is represented extremely well by the Gao company with rich collars, solid overall articulation, and, well, there is some hiccups, but we'll get to that. Guys, what is up? Today we are taking a look at the high-grade aerial Gundam. Unfortunately, this is not an unboxing because it did come in a bubble wrap envelope. Not ideal, but unfortunately it's what it is. You can see everything is kind of just shoved in there, individually wrapped, so that's kind of nice. And as most bootlegs come with, there is an additional stand that is thrown in there. Nice. Does not hold, unfortunately, the gun bits, but still solid. You can see there's a nice colored print on that as well. Looking at runner A, individual pieces, and because of the way it was shipped, pieces did fall off, just mainly that black. B1, and the plastic is labeled clear, so you know the materials is ABS. And you can see with the high-grade aerial, there's not a ton of runners with it. I do say these eye printouts are actually solid, very nice, and I like the beam effects, some of the better quality ones I've seen. Now with this chest piece, there is a little bit of issue with the print, that digital design print. This seems like it's not quite as nice as the Bandai version. And then you do have your aerial Gundam stickers. Here is the completed kit, and it absolutely looks gorgeous. Here it is thrown up against the original Bandai variant, and it really is hard to tell a difference. So we'll come back to that a little bit later. Jumping into the articulation, you can see that this head is on a ball joint and then it extended down into a lower ball joint, so there is all kinds of range of movement for the head. And that 360 spin for the owl look, I haven't got to say that in a while, so I'm pretty excited to say that. So moving into the arm here, this is a ball joint, but that armor piece for the shoulder is a C-clip into there. And you can see there is some movement in that. It's kind of tight in this spot here. It did seem to work its way a little bit loose as I started to pose it a little bit more. So that wasn't too bad, but initially that was tight. Nice high arm raise, and there it pops out. Again, just the ball joint going there. 360 spin at that upper bicep and a single bend at the elbow. And you can see a nice little extended ball joint right there for the hand to allow for a little bit up and down and a full 360 spin as well. A little bit of an ab crunch right there. Again, this kit was definitely tight in the beginning, and as I worked with it, it kind of loosened up. Let me show you a magic trick. Poof! Ariel's head's gone. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Moving in, nice little side bend on the sides, moving down into the side skirts. They are connected at that red piece. It is clipped on there, and not my favorite. Nice, great bend at those legs. This kit always had so much articulation, and it's represented well with this bootleg as well. Moving in, decent swing back from the legs. Moving forwards is nice too. A double bend at the knee for great posing. Look at that, just beautiful. Now I will say with the legs, it does have that C-clip in there, and you will have some issues moving into that when you're trying to pose the foot some. Here is all the accessories that you get right there. Of course, that's the gun bits that's actually already put into the shield, the beam rifle, beam effects with that as well, and then the two beam sabers. You can see here, simple, straightforward build. To put the beam effect on, I do love that factor. It just slides right on there. It looks so well. A side comparison between the original Bandai, you can see there's just a little bit of color difference in it, and I do actually like it probably a little bit more than the Bandai variant. And then if you want to put the gun bits from the back side of the skirt there, these gray pieces from the shield, they will slide onto the actual beam rifle as well. Taking a look at the shield, everything comes together nicely, minus the blue outer trim. There is a little bit of a gap on there. You can see just a little bit of light coming through every once in a while. Just kind of sits on there, and a couple of decals, as I was pointing out. There is one on top there, one lower, but that's the standard for the normal aerial as well. You can peg that shield right on the back. Moving into the beam sabers is a nice blue. It is a little bit of nubbing, so make sure you give yourself some room to work on it. It's a little bit on the harder side for beam effects. And you can see one little bubble in there, but not too bad. All the ways around, the beam effects are great. Here, taking a look, here is a transformation from the shield into the standard gun bits on the actual model itself. And just overall glance at it, it is very straightforward build. I absolutely love it. I'm not a huge fan of the gun bits on the kit though, but this is a preference thing. You can do it. I just don't like the tail feather on the back. That's what I'm gonna call it, because to me, it actually interferes with a lot of articulation. So, you know, It's your choice though, whatever you want to do with it. So some positives with this kit, it is represented well with especially the collars. I feel like the collars are very rich on that. I love the articulation, and the fact that there are stronger joints allows for so many positive things. Now there is a couple hiccups that I experienced through it. There is, just because the plastic was a little bit more on the brittle side than your normal. This section right here on the side skirts would pop out, along with this C-clip down here. Again, it didn't cause too many issues. If you extended it, it would pop out pretty easily, but to just kind of pop it right back in place, it's not that big of a deal if you're trying to get a deep pose on there. You may want to make sure you button that up or tighten it up a little bit more. It's okay, it's all right. So I mean, it doesn't affect too much overall, but it did happen a decent amount while I was posing the kit. Now let's take a look at a couple of the plastic imperfections. There was a few notable spots. Right here would be the most noticeable, right down the shoulder, but a little bit of, I would say, just the molding didn't seem quite right on the back of the helmet there and the neck. You could see a little bit. Unfortunately, with the shipping, this black plastic that, you know, was kind of scuffed up a little bit some. And then on top of that, a couple of spots where I had to take a file just to take a little bit of the edge off, maybe a little bit of overprint to get it slide in. Decent seam right there at the kneecap. It is present on the standard Bandai, however, it just seems a little bit bigger on this. And of course, this section right here, you can see it is loosened up some, but it was tight initially starting out. Along with the hips right here, just never seemed to loosen. And that's okay, I don't mind it, because I'd never feel like I was going to snap it. It definitely held poses. This kit, sorry, now there's my son, he wanted to show off the other one. He was showing a cool. This kit was less than $10 too, so I'm not going to complain about anything on here. Those were minor setbacks, and as far as the bootlegs that I've seen, it's been honestly one of the better ones I've built too. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out this other video, and until next time, love.